everybody, welcome back to another episode of ATL on Fire, the podcast where we talk all things Atlanta United Football Club and all things soccer and all things that are a disaster at the club. And tonight against Columbus Crew.
Oh,
Welcome back, Dave.
thank you.
With your
back. Yay.
Got your. Tell us about this Japanese jersey you're wearing here.
Urawa Diamonds.
And
That's
are they as bad as Atlanta United?
No, I don't think anybody's as bad as Atlanta United.
Carmen, what are we witnessing on the TV right now at halftime?
First, let's go with the positives, Mikey.
Oh, I like positives.
The positives.
I like positives.
Stop it.
No, I'm going to go with the positives.
Oh, why?
So it's a sponsor. No, the sponsors.
Oh, yeah, that too. Sorry.
The sponsors. We've got two amazing sponsors.
We
That's
do.
a positive.
Amazing sponsors.
Yeah, and you definitely need them tonight.
Yes.
If you like spirits.
Yes.
So we've
If you're out there, quick, go get yourself a Wild Heaven beer and a glass or a bottle of wine from Wolf Mountain Vineyards and get at it.
Yes, get at it. I don't care. It's hump day.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Yeah.
So just so you know out there that we're coming to you live on Wednesday night. We just watched the first half of the game. Good Lord. And now we're going to talk about it.
Are we?
Oh, should we warn all listeners? What did you say, Mikey?
This one will be explicit.
This will be explicit.
So kids, if you're listening live on YouTube, earmuffs. But Dave, before that, what are we drinking to calm our nerves here, red wine wise? What did you bring?
We are drinking a Fry Brothers from Sonoma. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon from the Alexander Valley in Sonoma.
As Atlanta United gets fried by the Crew.
Wine's good.
Wine delicious.
Team's not.
Not so
but
much.
Wine's good.
Ooh, I like the new YouTube look you did there with the fire in the background. We got a new vibe. That's,
how did that happen?
I don't
Who did
know.
that?
Something happened.
We're just gonna stick with it. We're gonna roll.
Absolutely.
We're gonna roll with it.
So Dave, you've been traveling since you've been
Thank
gone.
God.
Yeah. We went and played Orlando at the Mercedes-Benz. That was like the next day after our last podcast. So it's been like a month since we podcasted, right?
And it looked like we had turned the corner.
Looked like, after we won 2 home games in a row, we beat Orlando 3-2.
Yeah, a good Orlando team that was hot.
Yeah, somehow find a way to get 3 goals in that game.
That's right.
And pull it off. And then we go on the road to New York and play the Red Bulls in New York City. We lose 2-0 to the Red Bulls and then 4-0 to NYCFC.
It was a lot of goals against and not so many for.
And then we are now on the current same train at halftime, 3-0.
3-0
against Columbus Crew, looking absolutely shambolic. The worst fucking defense I think I've ever seen on. And I mean, it's unbelievable that Ronnie Dyla did not make a change in the first half. Would you not agree?
I wanted to make a change in the 16th minute.
Yeah.
Because even before we gave up a goal, I mean, it was just like they were fucking running through us. And you're like, how could you watch that as a team and not do anything about it? Like, I would have done something about it then. I would have been like, you're off.
Yeah.
Get off the field.
Lennon and Abram,
because you suck.
Particularly need to get off the field defensive-wise.
Lennon, horrible defensively.
Awful.
Right? Abram, horrible defensively.
Awful.
And Ephraim Morales, too, we give him a break because he's young and he hasn't played much, but also horrible defensively.
Yeah, passing it. I mean, got away with one. It should have, left a wide gap through a perfectly direct ball where he didn't put any pressure on him. That turned into a goal.
Yeah.
He stood him up, but then he let him get to the end line and, they score against Brad Guzan at the near post. It's just like.
They're just passing and running straight through the heart of our defense. Like there's nobody there.
With 5 in the back. So why go 5 in the back if you're not even going to defend?
Because we're idiots.
Oh my gosh.
Why are we torturing ourselves? I'm sorry, Atlanta United fans. If you're listening to this,
stop watching.
And stop watching. There are 0 listeners right now live. Because, I mean,
shocking.
They have tuned out of anything Atlanta United now because they don't deserve our attention.
No.
They don't deserve anything from us right now.
Nobody should watch this garbage. It's garbage.
It's starting to be clear that Dyla
has no clue.
Not making the changes. And particularly this half, Dave, what you don't see. Tell me some things if you don't see at halftime are just totally damning to Dyla right now because he's got to make some changes.
He obviously
I don't
has
care.
no idea. So his solution, I mean, I guess he understands at some level that we're terrible in the back, but his solution is just to put more guys in the back and do nothing about it tactically. We're playing 5 in the back, but it's the worst version of 5 in the back I've ever seen. I mean, we have 5 in the back and still nobody is marked up at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how is that possible?
Brooks Lennon still pinching like he did under the days of Pineda.
Who the fuck has outside bags?
Cats, what's happening?
It's become that time.
Explain to me, Mikey Dobbs, how you play 5 in the back and you still got your outside backs coming in to help. Why?
Even Amador was saying who doesn't do that. I don't know. Is it being coached like we're saying? Because
It looked like it was being coached.
like, hey, make sure you're pitching and covering, helping out the younger guys, the bad guys in the center.
Okay.
I
think that's what it is. I think it is. We do not trust our center backs because
they're
in this
terrible.
case I'm gonna say young, and they're young and terrible, but
Well,
young.
Morales is young.
Yep.
And what's Edwards playing? Is he playing
Edwards
center?
I will
is young.
Youngish.
Edwards is the only guy I've seen do anything good out there in that field.
Yeah.
One-
He made
1-on-1
some mistakes too, but
Made some
Yeah.
mistakes, but he's defending.
he at
and
least can defend.
can defend.
This is true.
He
But
can
he's
win
not-
the ball.
But is he a center back though? Because I feel
No,
like on an
he's came
outside
up
back,
as an outside
he's
back.
good, but center back, he's needing
No,
some
right,
help,
right,
and
right.
no one trusts anybody, and then it just becomes a crap
Right.
show.
Right.
So,
I mean, this team is a true hot dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yep.
And they had how long to work on this while you're
And a couple of weeks of
Gallivanting
break, right? You know, to
across the
solve
Pacific.
the problems in the back, but they've done nothing, right? You can see it. They've done nothing to solve it in the back. And when you play 5 in the back, you concede stuff in the middle because you have less guys in the middle, right? So it's a kind of a desperate move to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you do that, you have to, at minimum, stop them from going right up through the middle. That's the whole point, right? If you play 5 in the back and you cannot stop them from going right through the middle, I mean, you're a fucking disaster,
It's awful.
right? It's not even professional soccer because once you've conceded guys in the midfield and they're running right through the middle, what do you got left?
yeah, it's
awful.
it's painful to watch.
It's absolutely awful.
Okay. So positivity.
Yeah,
Can we go back a little bit?
yeah.
Let's just go back
Alright.
like a month and a half. I don't even remember
2018?
when. I mean, my kid was still in high school. I don't know what was going on.
Oh.
But we had a 2-match winning streak, right?
Yep,
We
yep.
were looking good before Cats went out of town.
I don't know if we're looking
Okay,
good,
not looking
okay.
good, but we thought we might be turning around, right? Did y'all see anything at that point, or were any changes made to get us to that point where you were like, here we
Yes.
go?
Yes.
So what had happened?
What happened was offensively, we were playing much quicker over the top to Latte Loth. That was the difference, right? And when you
Okay.
do that, you were springing him and we were looking much
I-
more offensively dangerous. We were scoring some goals.
Mhm.
We scored 3 goals at home, but we were still giving up 2.
Mm.
Like it was clear that nothing had gone.
Yeah, and
bad
we
in the
did
back.
that.
Okay.
We just did that with Almiron played it direct to Latte Loth on that
Yeah.
one play,
and that
uh,
was dangerous.
and that was dangerous. But we need more of
Ish.
that.
Yeah.
But like that's the only thing, Dave.
Right.
Like, and
That's the only thing we got.
that's the only thing we got. Is that it?
Yeah.
And
Is
that's not enough.
Because this team was built to be on the front foot, right? If we're on the front foot and you got Al Marone and you got Saba and you got Sleece and Cleek and they're playing tiki-taka football like you're seeing from Columbus, then it should be glorious with the occasional mix up of playing Latte Loth over the top, right? Moranchuk, they can all play with the ball at their feet. But the problem is we're not playing on the front foot ever at all. We are 2 different teams. We have a slightly aging, really good on the ball possession style tiki-taka, break them down to the middle offense, and a fucking terrible defense. And they are disconnected. They are
Yeah.
playing 2 separate teams, and it's just awful.
And well, at the beginning of the season, and up until recently, we at least get people into the box when we attack. That's one
Yep.
major shift that has been a refresher. Is like
Yep.
we have 4 or 5 people attacking inside the box, And we sure as hell got unlucky in terms of my eyeball test of not, and Dave would agree, especially those early games. But since then, like I'm like even like tonight, the whole attack, it just feels so soft, so unthreatening, relying on Miguel Almiron and Latte Lot just to do everything up there kind of as a flat
But
two.
they look like they've given up.
It does, man. It looks,
and I don't blame them, right? I mean, you've played sometimes
it's awful.
when the defense is terrible. You've played up
Yeah,
top,
it's so
and you
awful.
just give up, right? Because you're like, why am I? What are we doing?
Yeah,
You can't watch that as an offensive player and be like, really again? Like what are And they may not know that the problem, or they may, I don't know, but regardless of whether or not they can look back and know what our problem is in the back, they're looking at the back and they're like, it's chaos. Everybody's wide open and they're running right through the middle. Like
it is so obvious that the back, all five of them tonight particularly, not sorting it out. The whole point of five in the back is you pressure on the outside, make sure that they have no other option but to try to break you down. And we're not even letting them do that. We're like, especially the second part of the second half here, they were marching literally like 75% through just like the old Pineda days.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's challenging
Oh, yeah.
it. Brooks Lennon's not getting out wide on anybody, even Amador. Like it's clearly just a soft like retreat with no organization and no pressure to commit to really crack some, like show some pride too. Like have any of our back line like laid anybody out?
No.
Edwards played.
Morales looked like
Edwards had that one that got you a little excited for half a second.
And Lots. Okay, so Will Riley is now in
defenders.
The game,
I'm talking about defenders.
Who that is? Who's Will Riley? Who that is?
He's a young kid he drafted. Who did he replace though? It had to be Click. Can I see? It's a little far from here.
I can't. Yeah.
We'll see in a minute.
I've never even heard of this guy.
He's good.
Is he good? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's not
Will
the
Riley?
answer. Will Riley is not the answer, but
it's something.
It's something different.
I'll
But
take
is that the
something.
only change?
Well,
is that the only change we
The
made?
question is, did he change anything in the back? If he didn't change anything in the back, which I don't look like he did, then he has no clue, right? Because that's the problem. Yeah. So
What do we got? Is Cobb in? At least I feel like you had to bring Cobb in.
So Abram and Morales are still in the game. So no, he hasn't changed it in the back.
Yeah.
He left it in the back. He's like,
Well, who did he pull?
he had to pull. It looks like Sleece is still in the
Is it
game.
my blonde
so
guy?
it has to be Click.
My blonde guy, Click.
Yeah, it's Click. But that's just a scapegoat. And Click wasn't good, but that's just a scapegoat. They just don't understand.
But
the
nobody
problem.
was good. So
Yeah, but you don't understand the problem. So you want me to tell you what would have solved the problem?
Yeah.
please
Take
what
out
I would
Lennon.
have done? Yeah,
Please.
Lennon has to go. Lennon cannot play in the back. Period. Right? He should if he's gonna play, he has to play as a winger, right? At some level. I know you're saying, oh, he's a winger and a 5, but if he shouldn't even come back because he just actually gets in the way. Right. So if he's gonna play as a winger, he's got to play not as an outside back winger. He's got to play as a true. He should be playing the right side of a front three if he's going to do anything like that. So I would have brought him off. I would have put on Saba Lochanite.
Yes.
And
Why isn't he on the field? Is
Great
he on the
question.
bench?
yeah, he's on the bench.
I think he is. Yeah, he went.
Because one of the problems that they have is in order to try to protect the team with the so-called 5 defenders, right? He sacrificed one of the creative players, and Saba's the one who got sacrificed this time. It was Al Marone in the last game, right? He didn't play at all,
Right.
and so you can't play all of the attacking talent when you play all those 5 guys in the back. But why play 5 guys in the back if they don't do shit? Like, come on.
Mhm.
So I would have brought off Lennon. I would have put on Saba. I would have put Edwards out to the right. And I would have gotten rid of Abram, who I've said repeatedly should never be on a professional football field ever again.
We've said that over.
And so I would have brought on Cobb, and I would have said, all right, Morales and Cobb, you play in the middle. I don't care, make mistakes or whatever, blow it or whatever, but at least you're getting some experience.
Yes.
And have Amador be the left back, play 4 in the back, play straight up, have those guys stay out wide, match up, and let Morales and leave him on an island with Sleece in front and say, hey, go match up and go win the effing ball.
I like it. I like that idea.
No.
I love it. I mean, it's different. Anything different at this point.
It certainly you know,
because then you would have
the
changed two at the
worst
back.
case scenario, you know, another 3 goals happen.
Yeah.
But,
Well, if you change two at the back, at least you're acknowledging what you know that the problem is in the back. Right.
Yeah.
And we don't have, to be fair, you know, it's not like we have tremendous defensive options, you know, at the back at the moment because Gregerson's still injured and Williams is out, although I think Williams is terrible too. You know, we're supposedly signing the new guy from Albania, right? The
I
new
have
center
no
back.
idea. I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, well, who
Do
is this?
tell.
From where?
From Albania, I think.
I'll think
I mean, it can't be worse.
I really cannot
Yeah.
be, no.
And that maybe suggests that somebody knows that there's a problem in the back, in the center back. But again, it doesn't matter. They're also coaching them to pinch in and do crazy shit. And they're not coaching them to get up the field and mark up. Right. I mean, the number of times in that first half where they played a ball 40, 50 yards from the goalkeeper all the way to midfield and had nobody anywhere close to somebody.
Is
right.
It's just,
I mean, I would be losing my mind as a coach. Anytime you play a 40, 50-yard ball straight up the middle and we don't have a defender anywhere close to the guy who's receiving the ball, I'd be losing my mind.
Where they can trap it and turn and then take another 20 yards and go at a player. It's like, what? We're going on.
We're already 15 yards off of them and we're backing off. Like, get off the field. If you're going to be a cone, get off the field. You know, Carmen, as you mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, right? I think a Braum is like a drawbridge stuck and open, right? Like,
come on through,
just do whatever.
We're open for business,
and we're never gonna close. Like it's broken. The drawbridge is broken, Mikey Dobbs, and it will never go back down.
I am just so downhearted.
Yeah,
man. Like I
suck.
I'm so tired of being exhaustedly angry watching Atlanta United games. It's really wearing on me as a person.
Aww.
No, I'm not kidding.
I know you're not. That's the part that's sad.
It is super sad.
And the problem is, you know, Ronnie Dyla keeps talking about no fight in the team. It's impossible to have fight when everybody is that wide open. You just get embarrassed. You know, I've coached a few teams when I've been the other team like this, and had, you know, the other coach and the other parents screaming at their players like, you got to play harder or whatever. And I'm like, that's not the problem, people. I'm watching, you know, I played, you know, I had a summer team one time, Mikey Dobbs.
Yeah.
And because it was a summer team and there was like no authority for it or whatever. And so in the middle of the summer, you know, all these people are vacationing and blah, 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 blah. So I had 2 players at practice.
Jeez,
really? I had a squad of, I think, 26.
Yeah.
And 2 players showed up at practice for 2 weeks in a row. And then we had a big game against the other team, right? And then by the middle of the game, the coach and the other parents are screaming at their team. They're like, they're so much fitter than us. They're outworking you and blah, blah, blah. I'm laughing my ass off because I had 2 players at practice. Nobody had practiced in 3 weeks.
So is that what we need to do? Just
no,
not practice and go out.
But I had
let the team just coach itself, Dave. Is that what you did?
I'll take that.
The crazy thing is, if you get the tactics right and you have everybody matched up, it looked like our players were everywhere and they were working really hard. They weren't really doing anything. They were just in the right spot.
Yeah.
Right. And this team was actually probably outworking us because they were probably fitter than us and they had worked harder than us and they at least showed up at practice. My players weren't even there. Yeah. So that's what we look like.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Atlanta United fans are screaming at the team and Ronnie Dyla too, as if he's like, work harder, get on it, whatever. But, you know, that's not going to do it. Right. I mean, it will always help to work harder, of course. I'm not saying we shouldn't work harder, but that's not the problem.
Yeah. Ugh.
Right. And people say, oh, our whole team sucks. We don't have a lot of
So
talent.
not only do I get to be angry and upset with Atlanta United for the last 5 years, which is soccer's bringing me down.
Yeah, it's bringing you down.
But if you watch any of the U.S. men's national team games, they haven't been too inspiring either.
No.
At least they won.
I mean, the only convincing game was Trinidad Tobago, which you're like, okay, that's what you expect, a 5-0 win, right?
Yeah.
But then the rest of the games are kind of okay.
They've only played 2.
Haiti, you beat Haiti 2-1.
To be fair, so first of all, you know, we have less than a full squad, and we can get into, whether players should play or whether they're exhausted and need a break and blah, 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 the whole, Pulisic controversy or whatever, but it's not our full team. And they've won both games.
Well, they won 3 games in the Gold Cup in a row.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed
they got
by
embarrassed
Switzerland.
in the 2 warm-up games. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They got embarrassed.
Yeah. Well,
And Tyler Adams was in for part of those, I think.
a little bit. Yeah.
But I still think there's just something not right with the. I mean, it's,
Pochettino
yeah,
or
he's
the team.
Pochettino is making some boneheaded teams. Like, so why, like in some of those games, do you put out a team to be like Switzerland? There were better options on the bench. Why put out a team that gets embarrassed? That's just a dumb thing to do for the.
Yeah, maybe.
It was absolutely naive.
He's trying to figure out what he has, and
he knows what
realized that he doesn't
Yeah.
have that.
See,
Yeah.
but that's what he got wrong. He's smart enough, like not to go sacrifice the lambs. He should already know that. He knew that there's better players in the bench and went out and made a mockery of the crest, and that's what pissed me off.
Yeah, maybe.
Like he didn't learn anything by that. I could have told you that some of those players had no business being on the
But
field.
if you play a little bit weaker side, and then he plays the better
Switzerland
players,
is
and
not a
hold
weaker
on,
side.
And we put out a little bit of our weaker side, and let's say he goes and wins the Gold Cup with the better players. Are you going to be happy?
No, Gold Cup doesn't matter.
I'll be happier. I feel like for Mikey Dobbs, you got to be happier.
I mean,
but yeah, the U.S. men's national team is really perplexing me. And I think it really comes down, for me at least, what Mikey Dobbs was saying over text. We just don't have depth. So these people don't show up. Then
Yeah.
we do have to like throw people in kind of to get slaughtered. And we keep talking about like Tim Ream. How is Tim Ream still playing? He didn't play that first half, and we got he has to be in because there's nobody else right now, right?
Again, the defense sucks.
Yes.
but again,
Outside of our top, Anthony Jedi Robinson, the center backs are not
right,
good.
but
Nobody.
why wouldn't Pochettino start Tim Ream? You got a little bit of older stability. Like
Yep.
there was no backbone in.
There was zero.
Brendan Aronson could have been in there. Tim Ream could have been in there. There was options to then have some of these younger naive players have some other more experienced players around him.
Mhm.
He didn't. He went out and was like, let me go see what I have. And yeah, sure enough, you get beat 4-0 by
4-0.
Switzerland. Embarrassment.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to say the women's coach, Hayes, who really knows what she's doing, is doing the
Mhm.
same thing. She's give tons of people first debuts. She's not playing a lot of the veterans at the moment.
But
Like,
it's different.
why?
Because with the women,
'Cause
we have more
there's
depth.
so much better they can just win.
We have
Yeah,
depth compared
exactly.
to like if
The-
you
the
throw them out there.
competition is-
Yeah.
I don't know if we
Nowhere
have so
near-
much depth. It's just the other teams are so bad. Oh,
That's
we
what I'm
almost
talking-
scored.
Ooh, we almost scored. We did.
Yeah,
Oh.
almost only counts.
We
as
almost
twice.
scored. That was a good save. I don't know who shot that.
I mean, I'll take almost.
We almost scored.
But I mean, I don't know. We're a year out. Experiment should have been made like 2 years ago with like trying to figure out
Well,
who
I
your 11 is.
think-
He doesn't know who our 11 is.
I think the problem you got is like, where is he going to go in the center backs? I mean,
Yeah.
Richards, but outside of that,
I mean, if Ream is playing as our starting center back
Yeah,
for
we're
our
in
World Cup
trouble.
team, we are in serious trouble.
but
mean,
but we
but
don't
do
have
you-
any
do you-
options.
Do you
I
bring
don't think so anyway.
Miles Robinson? And I mean,
Yeah.
that seems like your better options. I'd
But
rather have a guy who can at least run with the best in the world. Oh, that was over. That looked
Oh,
over.
Come
didn't it?
on. Where's the watch? Let's see.
That's
Oh,
definitely
over.
that is a goal.
Oh my gosh. Did they not give that to us? That has to be a goal. Where's the watch?
Has VAR gone back and look at that?
Does he not
has-
have a watch?
No, there's no watch.
There's no
This is
watch?
An MLS.
If MLS doesn't give this as a goal for Atlanta United,
Are you kidding
That's
me?
about as obvious an angle as
that
you
was
can see. on
6
VAR.
inches over the line. Not even close.
If I were Atlanta United, I'd lose my
I would lose my
effing mind and
mine
get sent off.
too.
We have not gotten any
yeah.
calls our way all
was a goal.
year.
Ronnie Dial, if they don't give this to us, Ronnie Dial has to is
Yeah.
it a handball? Is that what they're saying? Maybe a handball off the first one.
That would be so. That would be classic. I mean,
Rex
clearly
Leonard
a goal.
can score from there.
Clearly a goal, but did it? Yeah. Are they going to do some
Oh,
other?
yeah,
thing?
Okay,
no,
so this
no,
is
no.
a goal. This
Okay.
is a goal.
It's
Yeah.
going over.
I,
Okay, don't call it a comeback.
Well, no, it'll be the 3-1 prediction that you and I had, right?
No, because I'm never right, Mikey Dobbs. So
No, we're gonna.
Carmen and Mikey Dobbs both predicted a 3-1 loss, people. So that's good.
we did.
I had no idea because I've been out of the country. I didn't even see the last.
you don't
two
know.
games.
You don't even know how bad we are, man.
Yeah,
You're
I know.
coming in all optimistic because you wanted to be, but
Yeah. Well, when I left, we were playing a little better.
Come on, guy. Don't even take a lot of time for this. I'm gonna be ticked off. This
like
takes
seriously,
longer than
this
3
is
seconds.
this is what's so aggravating.
Yeah.
Like this, it's ChatGPT days. Like general AI's coming, and we can't even figure this out in 1 second.
Are they
Like-
trying
Thank
to
you.
figure out whether that cross went out of bounds? What are they looking?
The only thing I think, hand.
Because it bent, but it couldn't have gone all the way out of bounds.
They review everything, and that's
Oh, is that what they're reviewing? Oh.
There's no way.
Okay, you
that-
can't call
yeah.
that back. There's no
well,
way.
there's no way that MLS, can figure out whether that went over the.
yeah. That's
There was
just,
just so if you're not watching, there was a cross on the left.
that may have bent behind the end.
Was
line.
that Miranchuk? Yeah, I think it was
I think
Miranchuk
so.
who made that ball.
Yeah, I think so.
He lofted it to the far post. It was headed back across, and it dribbled to Lennon.
So
who
now
kicked it in
the
from
now the
2 yards.
VAR is obviously not about whether it was a goal crossing the line.
Yeah, that was.
It was
obvious.
about whether the cross crossed the end line before it, came back.
Clearly went over.
Checking.
He wasn't
disallowed
offside.
Goal. What does that mean?
They're just checking.
Generally, everything.
I mean, like,
They didn't
At-
freeze
at-
at the
at
right
what
point.
point-
Yeah, that was like before. That was.
at what point do you need to waste the center guy's
Yeah.
line? Be like, no, it was 100% across the
goal,
line.
the goal.
How can they not tell them that? Like, you don't even need to take a look at this one.
Mhm.
It was definitely across the line
Yeah.
because it's embarrassing at some point if the ref does get it wrong at the box. Like, oh, I didn't think it crossed the line. Well,
Especially you got nothing to lose. I mean,
Okay.
they're up 3-0. So
Here we go. That's a goal. Come on.
I bet you it's
Come
not.
on, MLS.
They'll find a way for it not to be.
Goal. No, they'll give it
That's
to us. We're too bad.
No, he did not point to the end line, so I don't see him doing it yet.
All across the goal line. Goal.
goal.
All right. 3-1. Here we go, guys.
But why didn't he not signal the goal? He didn't do
That's
the.
because he was doing the old explanation that they do
Yeah.
now.
Or he's just an MLS ref.
So
But-
MLSE.
But seriously, why don't we have a watch? I don't
Because we don't
understand.
have any goal
I
line technology,
don't
nothing.
Understand it. We are America, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's.
Latte did really well there too. Or was it Edwards? Was it Edwards
I
who
think
chested
it
it?
looked like Edwards, but I couldn't really
I think
see.
it was Edwards. It was really good job of chesting it.
Positivity. All right, here we go. I
No.
like it.
I don't have any.
Let's go.
positivity.
This is it.
There's no reason to have positivity.
Here's the
No.
turnaround for the season. We just saw it, guys.
No, it doesn't matter because
None of this matters at all
The
based on
defense
the
is
defense.
so bad.
So bad.
You can't. The only thing that can get you through is just pure luck, and that's not a defense.
That's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Exactly. Our defense is bad. So what? So I made my changes. What would you guys do?
I would definitely have Brahm off with Cobb in. Lennon off absolutely.
Do you have Hernandez on the bench? Just so you know, but I haven't been impressed with him at all.
I would
so.
put in Hernandez versus Saba.
Anything at this point.
Versus switching. So hold on. My back line would be Amador,
Mhm.
Cobb.
Got it?
We have Morales back there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Morales and Hernandez.
Hmm.
Or did I say
Edwards?
Edwards?
Edwards.
Edwards. Sorry, Edwards. Okay, so start there, and then Sleece in front of them.
Yeah.
And then I would have Miranchuk, Latte, Miguel Almiron, and Saba somewhere. I don't know where
Yeah.
Saba. Saba in the mix is like a center attacking drifter. I don't care.
I'll take that.
Or drop Miguel Almiron into more of a 10 position and put Saba out a little wider.
I'd have Saba on the right, Latte Loth in the middle, and Almiron on the left.
Yeah, that'll work too.
That's what I would do as a front three, and then playing with Miranchuk behind them.
Yeah. So Sleece, Miranchuk, and then those three.
Sleece is the truly
Okay.
defensive midfield.
I do feel like we need more motion up top too. Like I feel like Saba at some point was like all over the field.
Yeah, he's good. He's got
You
a lot of
know?
motion.
Yeah, he's one of the
But I
few
feel like
creative-
first half of this game, and maybe the last game, I can't remember. I felt like it was a little bubble hockey even for us.
He's made us worse. How how did we get Ronnie Dyla after Pineda, and how did Ronnie Dyla ever?
Sorry.
Good call. Time's running out, Dyla.
We need a new song. Let's do it. Mikey
Gosh.
Dobbs, can you pull that out? Because I'm off the
We're-
Dyla bandwagon
Well-
because he doesn't see it.
But so
So
how does he win championships at Celtic and
because
NYCFC?
you know what I think?
What is it, David? Just total luck, dumb luck, because he's
Well,
not a good coach and just
no,
lucked out. But great players that organize themselves. Like what?
No, I mean yes.
Here we
and,
go.
Yes
Here we
and no. Come on, score.
Okay. All right. It's looking a little more promising now.
Finished that.
Looking a little more promising. All right. Sorry, I cut you off.
What I would say is that I have a feeling that if they're on the front foot a little bit, like I don't think he's probably that bad of a coach offensively, right? I think we've shown some glimpses that we can press up the field and maybe have some interchanging movement and whatever. I think where he got lucky in the past is I don't think he has a clue what he's doing in the back, and he just had some players who just could get it done
At
right?
Celtic too?
Yeah, and
That's a lot of luck.
Well, what I would say is that he hasn't always had the luck. He's gotten fired from all those places too, right? So what I would say is that he's had enough defending just to get by, and he's won a couple of titles, right?
That's what it's all about, though.
That's a good ball.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. You can't
and-
have your cake and eat it too, Dave.
Well,
I'm
what I
sorry.
was-
He does this all the time. Have you noticed this, Carmen? It's all about coaching, winning resume. But now all of a sudden, which I agree, he's definitely not figuring it out for Atlanta United. But you can't just throw the baby out with the
I don't know if
bathwater.
I'm doing that. What I would say is like, so if Atlanta United, for example, let's say that he realized or the team realized that whatever that the center backs are awful, and let's say he got this new Albanian center back, and he turns out to be great.
Here we
ball.
go.
It's a good ball.
We got a score here. He misses this.
Please.
Oh, how did he miss that?
Oh gosh!
great-
Latte. That was
what
a
a
did
great
great.
cutback.
He did
fantastic.
great up until the last thing. He's lost his
Miggy
Ah.
was great getting that ball,
Yeah,
cutting it back. He
Great
put it
ball.
great
Beautiful
ball through to
ball.
Latte Loss.
Great
He
cut
cuts
by
it back,
Latte
and he
Loss.
just had to.
just
That was
missed.
way wide though.
He just missed.
He just missed, man.
But that's another signal. Like when you're a forward and you don't get many chances, when you get the chance, it's like you're always in a
Yeah.
hurry. And you're like, oh, let me get
He's
off.
had some chances like that though
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is that so let's say hypothetically that we get this Albanian guy and he's a really good defender, right? And he can, let's say he's the MLS, Van Dyke.
Okay.
And so he just can dominate his position as it is. And let's say, for example, that suddenly Gregerson is not hurt all the time. So let's say those two guys are in the center.
I'm
back.
not betting on either. Of those
No,
bets.
I'm not saying either. But what I'm saying about Ronnie Dyla is if that were to happen and suddenly the defense is 40% better, 50% better, then you could see him winning the title with this team.
See, but
I'm sorry. What? See
Yeah.
who? Dolly? I can't ever say the dude's name.
Yeah,
Ronnie
maybe,
Dyla.
maybe.
No,
So
but
with just the two center backs,
No,
you
it-
think he can win the title?
If they were to suddenly, basically solve the defensive problems, yes.
Okay.
but
I don't think he knows how to coach it. Like, I think he just got some, to be fair, you could have said this, about Liverpool. Like, I'm not sure that Klopp, blah, 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 was super aggressive up the field, but, Van Dijk makes him look really good, right? There's certain players who just,
I don't know. I feel like you should move the card deck around, man.
maybe, but
Because look, yeah, I mean, of course, if we bring in, we've been saying it since the get go. We know we have two bad center backs, and it's
well, he doesn't know that. That's
no,
the
I'm
problem.
sure he does. I'm sure he
Well,
does.
maybe, but he hasn't.
He just doesn't think that any changes.
So what I
will
was
help
going to
it.
say is a great coach could take even, an Abraham or a Williams or whatever and make him serviceable. It is very clear that he cannot do that.
Right.
So he needs great defenders who can be serviceable just on their own that were coached by somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And that happens. You see that sometimes where a coach has no idea.
Who
and
did
they're-
Frank DeBoer have for us in the back?
Oh,
It was LGP still after that first season. Parkhurst was gone. Who did it? It was
But,
Miles Robinson after that.
Yeah. So we
Mhm.
had Miles Robinson.
So Miles Robinson started after that. That's a pretty good center
That's a
back
decent
pairing,
center
Miles
back
Robinson and LGP.
Mhm.
But I think, LGP is a pretty good example. Like he's a flawed player, right? But
I loved
but
him.
but coaching put him in the right position and gave him the right thing, and he did well enough. Yeah.
So, do we not have the defenders where, let's say, I can never say his name.
Ronnie Dyla.
Ronnie Dyla. Let's say he's a good coach.
Yep.
Are we saying though our defenders are just that bad? Like it doesn't
Yes.
matter what you do, you
Well,
can put them wherever.
And we have said this from a long time now that our center backs, no matter who the coach is, are not good enough. Right now, the flip side of that coin is if we had the best defensive coach in the world, whoever that is, right, then with this defense even we be serviceable? Probably. Right. For example, Wilfred Nancy, if we would just switch, right, would he make this defense serviceable? Probably. Right. I mean, would they be, MLS best defense? No, but they score a lot of goals and
I mean, at this point, I just don't want to be 13th on the table.
Well,
like I feel like with our talent,
don't worry, we won't be soon. We'll be 14th.
Let's go. Yeah, we're going nowhere because if you cannot stop people from going up the field, especially up the middle, what are you going to do?
I felt like we used to be good at keeping people from coming out in the middle. That's why Miami had such
When was
problems.
this?
When Miami would have
Are you
problems
thinking like
against us?
2019?
We
or
haven't
18?
been good up the
I always
middle a long
thought
time.
that we would leave it wide open on the
We
edges.
did.
And then they
And
would
we
just,
still weren't good in
but
the middle.
people weren't coming directly
A little
down
bit, just
us.
because they had so many guys in the middle and they didn't need to. They were so wide open out wide, and they would cross it and score. Right.
Because I always thought that's why we were good against Miami, because they would just drive it
play
down
up
the
the middle,
middle, and
yeah.
we were clogged in the middle and wouldn't let them just drive through
Pineda
us.
did do that, right? He had the outside back so far pinched in that it was clogged in the middle.
Yeah.
But we were still horrible
Is that Saba?
defensively.
That was a
No,
great
that's
ball.
Amador.
That was a great ball.
That was a great ball. Come
Oh,
on.
that
Foul.
was a
Call that,
foul.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Maybe free kick.
Here we go. 3-2, guys. 3-2.
All right.
Here comes the
We're at
comeback.
the
It's
seven.
amazing that we're still cheering for this team. At least for me, because I do want them to score here, but I also want it to just catch on fire until there's
I
no
have
salary
to say,
cap.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud on the podcast, but
Uh-oh.
kind of rooting for us to get hammered and let's get Dyla fired.
Oh,
Like-
whoa.
Like, what are we doing?
You go to
Yeah.
Tokyo and Iceland, and all of a sudden,
I said that I would give,
So-
Dyla till the middle of the year. And I would say, like, if we, by the middle of the year, if there was no signs of progress, then I would lose the faith with him. Remember, we were talking
did.
about what do we call
You
it?
did say
the
that.
meter?
worry
Yeah,
meter.
But you
Worry
worry
meter.
meter.
But you came into this podcast hopeful.
No.
You did.
Well, I wasn't very hopeful because I saw the two results when I was
Yeah.
gone. But
But you kind of were like, even if we get beat, if we played well and we did some
Yeah,
things.
'cause I feel like your last worry meter was still like at a, you were still
my worry
positive.
meter is like 10
10.
now. I mean, it's
This one
because
goes- this one
nothing
goes
has
to 11.
changed defensively. We now got to the middle of the year. We're halfway through, right? That's
mean,
what I said. I would always judge them, and we have shown no signs of improving in the back.
So when we finished winning, or let's just say after Frank de Boer, really,
Yeah.
because Frank
Yeah.
de Boer was obviously the last decent coach we had.
Yep.
Could you have tried harder to make worse outcomes of teams than what we've done since?
Not so much with the talent we've had. We did have, to be fair, right after De Boer that year, the next year,
Yeah,
the
that next
talent
year.
was pretty poor.
Yeah.
But after that, we've had good players.
That was
Now,
like COVID, and no one really cared
yeah,
anyway. So there was a whole
have
pass
we
of-
always had the best team? No, but we haven't been as bad as our record. I mean, talent wise. So we've played 19 games. Yeah.
It's
So
just
we're past halfway.
after watching the Club World Cup and realizing like the potential Atlanta United should have is, a club that has the best stadium in the world,
Yeah.
the
But they're
best
blowing it.
best
The fans
financing.
are pissed.
They've blown it. Like it's classic Atlanta. Like they could not have delivered more on the disappointment that I have in terms of expectations of sports in Atlanta. They have fucking exceeded my expectations of taking my hate for the Falcons organization and taking it to a next level of 28-3. No, it's even worse than 28-3.
I have to say,
Stop. Oh,
the
too
guy,
soon.
the guy who also deserves to me the blame is Lagerwey
Yes.
because Lagerwey kept saying that the coach doesn't matter that much, right? It's not that important. You just get the players and whatever, and then he keeps. He needs 3 transfer windows or whatever to get the best players in, and he's got better players, and he's gotten all the players he wants in, and it hasn't gotten better, right? And it hasn't gotten better because the coaching hasn't gotten better.
Yeah, but this is where I say you can't have your cake and eat it too, Dave.
What?
Because when we hired Dyla, you agreed he was a good coach with a good resume and all of the things. So
I agreed that he had a decent resume, but I had never seen him coach, and I said that I would withhold judgment until I actually saw him coach our team. And I also said we would wait half a season to really see if I could see improvements on the field, and the answer is no.
I don't know, Dave's
I don't think I've been that inconsistent.
You have been inconsistent. You also thought that Ten Hag was a good coach too when he came on board for Manchester United, did he?
Well,
not Carmen. Ten Hag was going to succeed.
Shoot.
Just go ahead, dig yourself out of the hole. Go.
No, what I would say is that so in neither of those cases, because I don't watch enough world football, had I been able to week by week watch the coach or whatever. And I said, if you go back to the podcast, I will reserve judgment until I actually get to watch him coach the team week by week, and then I'll be able to really judge. Because all I was judging was on the record. The records were pretty good.
But Ten Hag, where did he come from?
He came from Holland. He had won the league.
Ajax, correct?
Yeah.
So clearly he could coach.
Well, he did well at Ajax.
Or did he just happen to have good defenders and an attacking team that got it done, like you just said? What is it, Dave? Is he a good coach or not?
We're turning against each other. This is what Atlanta United has done to us.
Hold on. What I would have said is actually still having watched Manchester United the whole time, I don't think that Ten Hag is a bad coach. I think he's a good coach. Do I think that he's as good as I had hoped he might be, like a really phenomenal coach? Maybe not. I think that he was a little bit, unlucky, if you will, to not really quite do a little bit better than he did. Obviously, a couple of their signings didn't work out well. Like, the big one, Højlund was supposed to be a guy who could score and really didn't. And that, there are situations where, players, if you look at the Man United squad, I've said at that time, like, maybe we don't have the players, but, and I could be wrong about our squad, but I think this Atlanta United squad, compared to MLS, of course, not compared to the Premier League, but compared to MLS squad, looks to me like a very talented squad. Even with, I think you're really down on Almiron because you haven't seen anything. I still think, when I watch Almiron, his movement is really good. When he's on the ball, he doesn't give it away.
I'm not that down on Almiron. I am more down on Click.
Click has really been a bust.
Yeah.
He's been a bust? Okay.
He hasn't been good. He hasn't been. I thought he was going to be a guy. I knew he was old, and I knew he wasn't going to move as much as what he used to be, and that was a big part of his game. But I thought he would still read the game. I thought he would still kick some people, and I thought passing-wise he would be terrific. Yeah. And he hasn't been any of those things.
And because it's a domino game, and you have a few weak links, it makes everything weaker. So Sleece is looking worse off because he doesn't have support in front of him with Click, and obviously behind him with Abram, Williams, Lennon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. Yeah. It's all right there.
Sleece has no chance. I mean, I don't know whether Sleece...
He has no chance to look good because
would we find out that Sleece is better or not than we think he is? I don't know. But he has no chance because
he's got
the players behind him are so bad.
How do y'all like these changes?
So it's
what just happened?
Tiare for Miranchuk.
Yep.
And it
Edwards
was Saba for Edwards.
Yeah.
So they're going for
why? But again, if you're Dyla, you don't understand.
You're not solving the problem.
Because why wouldn't you leave Edwards on the field? He's the best defender we have left on the field, right?
Have we seen?
So that's what I'm saying. He doesn't understand, just like Pineda didn't understand how bad Abram is. And I don't understand. I mean, if there's one thing that I have been 100% consistent on from now for a while now, that Abram, I have said for a while now that Abram is not a professional player. Yeah, he's terrible. How can they not see that?
I don't know.
He's awful.
And at some point, it's Lagerwey and Who's the technical director now? Do we have a technical?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we
we
have.
got the new guy.
We got. Oh, that's right.
Chris Henderson.
That's right. I forgot about that.
But he
He's
was a
supposed to
new.
be
Was
really
Oh,
good.
Chris Henderson. Yeah,
yeah,
he
he's relatively new.
Yeah, he came from Miami.
He needs to
where
go
he's-
to then. Chris,
he's-
see
he's
you
been-
later.
I forgot about him
Because you're not figuring it out.
Well, one thing I'll say is that, what do we have rumors about is at least it's a center back, right?
Yeah, who is
So,
this guy?
Well, this isn't a mystery. I mean,
it's a mystery to Dyle. He keeps
Well,
playing
no,
a Brom.
you took all your designated player money and you bought, the fancy players.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that we got some change left, when it's obvious as hell you need to spend on the center back, like, come on, I'm not going to give any credit on that. Like,
Well,
duh.
but I think Dyla doesn't get it because if I were Dyla, I would play anybody but a Brom. Honestly, I think that Click could be a better center back
Yeah.
than a Brom. Right?
Yeah, there's no way a Brom should be playing a Noah Cobb on the bench or anybody on the
I
bench.
mean, and we're not really clear exactly whether Cobb is really good or not. We haven't seen enough of him to
he's
really
got to
know,
be better than a Brom.
But I would still try it.
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be playing a Brom. I wouldn't have been playing Williams anymore. Period.
Have we seen Jamal, the TRA and
And
Latte Laugh playing together
no, I
before?
don't think
This is the
they've-
first
they've
time.
always
I
been
think they have been once.
very
in
rarely.
one of the
Okay.
games they were on, I recall, and I can't remember what, but I'm pretty sure they were on one game together.
All right, let's see it.
But it was a game like we were losing, and I think we tried to put firepower out
Yeah.
there.
Kind of like this one.
Yeah, kind of like this one. Is that what's going on now? They're both
I
on?
think they're both
Yeah, they're
on.
both
Yeah,
on.
there you go. That's why. Same definition of insanity. Like Dave said, don't solve the problem in the back.
Right.
Let's just throw more ammo up
Let's hope
front.
that we have, more attacking players will do it.
Let's-
You're like, I don't know.
But anyway, to change the subject while this game's going on, the Club World Cup is going on right now, and
That's
it's
right.
been
Right.
110 degrees everywhere in the United States.
right.
Mhm.
They've had trouble with even getting more than 20,000 people at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for some of the group stages.
Now, one of the things that's crazy. So first of all, we had said right from the beginning that it was way overpriced.
Way priced out.
Oh,
They
it's
price out
ridiculous.
everybody.
Yeah.
Inclu-
But on top of that, they made another curious decision, which is in order to accommodate a world audience, they've put some of these games at 3:00 midday in the
Yeah.
US. And I get that's better for Europe or whatever, but it, I don't care who you are, right? I mean, I'm not sure the best NFL teams in the country or best, are going to
Yep.
draw that well at 3:00 on a midweek.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
People have jobs.
And by the way, the
I mean, we don't.
at
But
at the stadiums, and by the way, the stadiums that don't have air conditioning, like the
Oh,
Mercedes-Benz,
God.
might be the hottest.
yeah, the
at
hottest
3
part of the
p.m.
day, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Well, I will say though, it started to get more entertaining, and
Well, some of the riffraff are gone, including my Urawa Diamonds
yeah, but
from the
I
J
watched
League.
I watched Inter Miami against Palmeiras the other night.
I saw it too.
Very entertaining game.
That
Yeah.
was.
I was entertained. Like I
Yeah.
was like, all right, man, I'm leaning in. It was good soccer. Palmeiras, clearly a younger team, knocking the ball around. I thought it was entertaining, and it's just amazing too. That I mean, you really look at how much older Messi and Suarez were than these like 21-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Where Palmeiras were like flying around, really
Yeah.
a very good team, and they were able to pull it off. I mean, it was they ended up tying 2-2.
The South American clubs, with the exception of Boca, who's out, have done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Botafogo
Well, they
have
say
been
that because they're
good,
taking
and-
it serious. Because the one thing
Yeah.
that World Cup, Club World Cup did is they put some money on the table. Evidently, I don't know all the details, but for a South American club, for the pride of beating,
Yep.
the
European
European champion and
Yeah.
winning, 60 million and money for your
How
club.
did they not score that one?
Yeah.
How did that ball not go in? Anyway, sorry. We're still watching the game.
Yeah.
81st minute.
But I will
Columbus.
say it's getting entertaining. This Saturday at noon, PSG and Miami play Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
if I was here, I would go. I'm actually still thinking about going, but I gotta,
It's Sunday at
Yep,
noon. so-
Sunday. at noon.
Sunday at noon. Sorry, yeah,
Mhm.
Sunday at noon. I mean, that's going to be a fun game, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
So if I could figure out a way to scalp a $50 ticket, getting in there somehow, because there's going to be tickets available at the last second,
yeah.
right?
there's still tickets for sure.
Yeah.
Because they way overpriced. Our season tickets, which are in a very nice location, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was like $300 for a ticket,
Yeah.
right, or more. All right, so
Yeah.
Hernandez and so he brought off
Latte Loth.
Latte Loth, Cobb came on, and Hernandez came on.
All right. So,
But still, Abrams in the fucking game. Why? Why, Mikey Dobbs? Why?
Maybe he's like really good in practice or
We
something.
need it.
no,
No.
he's not. No, he's not.
No,
Is
I'll tell you, and I've said this
he-
before on the podcast. The reason why people don't think he's that bad is because you don't like even today, right?
He
didn't
didn't
make
make any of the
mistakes.
responsibility.
Nobody, beat him, right? The guy who got beat was Morales on the goal, right? Morales,
Yeah, okay.
was on the guy and he shot it near post and whatever. But Morales didn't really get beat that bad. It kind of got shot underneath him. And on that play, right, Abram just let the ball go right over his head, did nothing, but nobody sees that. They only see Morales at the end.
Abram is, Olay. He's like, let the bull go by.
Yeah. He's very good at staying out of the play.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, exactly. He's like that. I mean, if it was a forward, you would compare him to somebody who never takes on anybody. He
And-
just
Right,
kind of.
right.
And you would think,
Right.
analytics could put a pretty big highlighter on that day,
He
right?
never gets to tackle it.
How can the analytics data that Garth is a big analytics guy?
Right.
I
They
mean,
must know.
moreover, just watching.
Just watch it.
Just watch
Just
the
watch
damn
the
game.
game.
It's unbelievable. You don't even need data.
I was about to
but
say, if I'm sitting here wondering who he's sleeping with to get playing time,
Yeah.
clearly you know that he should not be
Yeah.
You
on the
haven't
field.
figured that out?
I haven't figured that one out.
He's got Miguel Berry's agent, I guess. I don't know.
That guy has photos from somebody. But that's the thing, right? I mean, Miguel Berry's still in the league,
It's insane, man.
right? I mean, so there are multiple people at multiple clubs have seen something in Miguel Berry that he's still there.
He's tall.
Heck, and Marcetic is still in this Columbus team.
Oh,
Right?
Sedek is?
Yeah, he's on the bench, but
At least Dom Dwyer's
Don Dwyer, that guy did some things.
I was a
You
fan of
can't-
Dom Dwyer.
Yeah, I don't think you can't lump him into that.
I don't know. I
conversation.
love Dom Dwyer, but at the end, though, I
We're
was
like-
like,
Nice,
"Ew."
Saba. Here we go.
Oh,
Somebody? Anybody?
That's a pretty good ball he tried.
Yeah, it was.
There was nobody open.
Aaron Chook.
Take him out. Why not?
Well,
Aaron Check doesn't play any defense.
Aaron Chuck's not even out there. Is that him?
Yeah,
He's
he's
still
still
out
out-
there. I
still
thought
out
he
there.
came out.
he doesn't play defense, but at least,
Yeah.
like I said, the way he drifts into space,
Yeah.
he at least knows how to drift into space
He's
defensively.
available.
That
Yeah.
creates an angle that at least makes the rest of the people behind them
Mhm.
know where the ball should be going. So he's at least signaling to the rest of the team.
And
It's-
if we could
behind
freaking win
him,
the ball, he'd
but-
be fine.
but that's the thing is the defenders behind him can't even pick up on.
They're awful.
They're so bad on. Okay, Miranchuk shifts this way, which means the only way the ball can go is this way or this
Right.
way, and then
They
go
don't
put
know.
pressure there.
Exactly.
But they just keep it soft. Keep it soft.
I don't even think you can call it keeping it soft.
I
It's
feel
like,
like he-
run away.
Yeah.
You ever see Monty Python and the Holy Grail? He
Run
bravely-
away! I warned you.
He bravely ran away.
Abram, he bravely ran away. Abram ran away.
We need an AI song.
Oh
Can you do that for us? Can
Uh,
you get us an Abram ran away song?
Abram ran away. Ran away.
He avoided a challenge. He didn't get in a play. He bravely ran away.
Who needs AI? You guys got it.
Come on, we need that for the next time.
I will do it.
If
when
you're
we're done
out
with the
there,
podcast
look
here.
for it on social media. We're gonna have an Abram bravely ran
Oh,
away
my goodness.
song.
So wait, is Abram and Lennon, are they both still out there?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
Knock him over. There it is.
No way, that's a
Oh,
foul.
that is
You
a
knew he was
cheap
going to call
call.
that. You knew he was going to call that. But I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
TRA pushing someone over.
Make him make the call.
Yeah, that's a foul.
Soft call.
This team. I'm trying to stay positive, guys.
There's nothing to
About
be
what? There's
positive
nothing to be
about.
positive about.
I feel like there must be something. It's the
No.
summer of soccer, guys.
I know. So the U.S. men's national team sucks. Atlanta United sucks.
I'm not as down on the U.S. national team.
Why are you not down? Like, what is your hope for the U.S. men's national team?
We
Like,
have a
World Cup
year.
semifinals.
That's about it.
what?
What? Really? Still?
Still,
You're delusional.
I mean, I don't know because
You're really delusional at this point. Like, I no way.
But you're making a lot of judgments based on a lot of nothing games. Like,
Well,
and
right.
we're nowhere close to the final team that will be there. In
We're
the World
1
Cup.
year, and that nothing team, that team
Yeah,
has not gotten any time together, which matters for cohesion, which is what this Gold Cup was supposed to be. Sure, they've been injuries. Des got surgery, all of it, but we're not getting any meaningful games. There's no cohesion.
I saw
Gio Reyna, as far as I know, like I don't know that I would trust him on the U.S. men's national team.
I saw a hot take that you might appreciate.
Ooh, hot take.
Not for me.
Okay.
This was in the Athletic.
Yep.
It was a hot take that said that perhaps American soccer has finally arrived because all these national teams
I think I saw
have these problems, right? There's in many of the teams that went on to win the World Cup, they've had, coming into it, some striker refused to play and then he played and had some riff with the coach and they weren't sure about this and weren't sure about that, but they had, some talent and they put them together and they eventually come together and they play well, right? You don't have to be good until the tournament. Right. And if you have talent, which I think we do, and you have a coach who can get it right, which I think we do, right, then, not to say that that's the best way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
You'd love to be Spain and win 3 tournaments straight or whatever. But
I think that's where the data, as a data person, would approve, is that being prepared and have a resume of winning is the better approach than just saying, oh, let's just hope that all of our disparate club players who are great players can come together at the last minute with a coach Pochettino who clearly is making some bad decisions right now with some C players. Like, why would you expect him to make better decisions with A players?
But I don't have a problem with him losing a friendly. Like, who cares? Right? Why do you have a problem
I
with
do
that?
have a problem with it because it didn't do any of those players any good, Dave. It embarrassed them. Their confidence
that we need better players.
Their confidence is down.
That is true.
Their confidence is down. So that might stop their progression of confidence. It didn't help the fan base believe in anything.
But
and hold on, and also there was a way for that not to happen, to where you could have put in Tim Ream, you could have put in Brendan Aronson, you could have put in somebody else I don't know that was on the bench, and then actually build them up with maybe like a 3-1 loss or 3-2 loss. And that would have been more acceptable, more productive. And we didn't do that. He just made an asinine decision with the C-level team.
I agree with you that I would have probably more integrated some of those C-level players that you want to see whether they could do it with some better players to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also an argument to be made. These are, matches with tired people coming off of Europe and nobody cares. And you just throw out all the young players and see if anybody shows you any kind of spark. Just look at them and you don't care about the result. It's like, preseason baseball, right?
That's clearly what he did. It's clearly what he did. Yeah. But at some point,
and if he knows that and the players know that, then it doesn't hurt the psyche of the team.
Then say that. Don't be a sissy, because he's like, I'm not a mannequin. Well, then tell the fans, like, I wasn't trying to win the game.
I'm sorry. You don't lose 4-0 to anybody and not have it affect your psyche somewhat.
Yes.
You can't lose 4-0. No, not even lose 4-0. 4-0 at half.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can, if none of those players are the players who are going to be in the team when,
Then why are they in camp?
Because he's trying to see if anybody can help us at all.
But he should already know. If they're that bad,
no, he's trying to see if there's 1 or 2 players amongst those who can eventually maybe give us. I don't think
he's the right. He hasn't even talked to Sergiño Dest yet.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, this is, who knows?
He doesn't communicate to anybody.
Well,
and he's clearly alienating. Like he's screwed up the communication with Christian Pulisic on the reason he didn't play.
Yeah.
They got off the same page there. Bad communicator, and that's all around.
Pulisic actually has come out and said that what he asked is
that
if he could play the 2 friendlies and not play the Gold Cup. And I think that would have been, if you're the coach and say, look, he needs a rest and I'm going to give him that, let's let him do that.
Well, it wouldn't have embarrassed us for nothing against Switzerland. Right.
Yeah.
So Pochettino is also like, well, he wanted the full team together to be able to train. I don't get that either because those guys aren't going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. Like that's not his team anyway. So none of it makes any sense to me that he's like, oh, I wanted this whole team through the Nations League game and through the Gold Cup.
Mhm.
And Christian Pulisic, who I also think should have just done himself a favor and come back anyway and said, hey, dude, I do need a rest, but I'm going to be here.
Right.
And you're going to not run me like crazy during training. I'll be here as part of the team for the morale. Because one thing I will say for Christian Pulisic is he's finally on a year and a half, 2-year run of not being injured. And that's been his biggest cap.
That's good.
Is like soft muscle injury. And if his body saying, hey, dude, played 50 games this year and 3,000 something minutes. Yeah. I need a break. Yes, listen to that birdie on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Check.
Yes.
But he's getting a bunch of shit from Landon Donovan and Tim Howard that he's
Donovan's the guy who took all the time off.
Yeah. Hold on. You know what? Brendan Donovan, that he's like he's saying, oh well, he was having some issues, whether he even wanted to play again. He had some mental health issues. Yeah. That sounds like a damn double-edged sword to me right there. Now take care of your mental health. Maybe Christian Pulisic is taking care of his mental health. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, and he's also like, well, maybe Christian Pulisic is, but I'm going to call him out in front of, and not help the U.S. men's national team. Maybe he's not in mental health. Maybe he's just about health. Okay. Not mental health. Like you had problems with, cause you're soft, Landon Donovan. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Pulisic, I think,
me off. And then he calls out, David Beckham too. That's just the kind of guy that Donovan is.
He's on fire.
Who is he to call out David Beckham? Donovan. Who is he to call out Christian Pulisic? I mean, come on.
It's interesting though, like even Messi, like at times he took some games off and people in Argentina were all in arms and it's going to ruin the whatever, and he doesn't play for the flag anymore or whatever, and then he needed it and he came back and of course he's way good. Now I'm not saying that Pulisic is Messi, but he's
our Messi.
I was about to say for us in our depth, he is Messi.
Yeah. It is very clear that the players in Europe are completely overworked, and for them to come off of that. There's a number of players who played in Europe and are now playing in the Club World Cup, and none of those players are going to get injured because your body just can't handle it. Yeah. It's not good. I actually agree with the players. People are like, oh, they're soft or whatever. Back in the day, they played whatever. But the truth is, back in the day, they didn't. They played every week. They always showed up and they never took time off, but they had a whole off season that was a serious off season, and they didn't have the number of fixtures they have. If they go back statistically, those old guys are like, oh, we played or whatever. You're like, you're full of shit. You played like 2/3 or 50% of the matches.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Donovan and Tim Howard. Yeah. They're saying things without saying things. Yeah. And they're not helping the mode of like,
but I think with all of that, right? This whole idea that the U.S. men's national team is in big trouble or whatever is overblown, right? Like we may be, but we won't know that for another. I mean, if everybody turns out to be healthy going into the World Cup and we have a full squad, we're going to be okay.
If our talent is healthy, then we should do okay. If we played together as a team. Yeah. Which is yet to be seen.
And he's got to find a center back answer.
That too.
I don't know.
How are our keepers? I mean,
the keepers are not good.
I think Tim Ream's going to make the squad.
I think he has to. I think he has to. Quite frankly.
Yeah, but right now he has to.
He might not. He has to. I hope, honestly, at this point, I hope he makes the team, but doesn't start.
Although, to be fair, one of the things people are like, oh, we're still out a year out, and that's like there's no matches left. So many times when you look at real World Cup, like for example, when France won the World Cup, going into a year before, nobody had ever heard of Thierry Henry or Trezeguet or any of the guys who won the World Cup for them for the first time. They all emerged in that year before the World Cup. So I guarantee
all those are attacking players. No defensive player emerged out of the
yeah, I think you're right in that. But I guarantee there's one or two players we're going to be talking about as a great hope for the U.S. who we've kind of never even heard of.
Great, but not on the defensive front where we need.
Maybe.
It might be.
Mm.
It might be. I don't know. I don't think we are.
We definitely have a problem in the center.
We're definitely.
Yes.
I'm gonna 100.
and then the goalkeeper.
I'm gonna 100% disagree. We are not going to see a U.S. men's national team name that we haven't heard of because their invitation was wide open in these
The
last
net
couple
has
months.
been, it's been cast
the
pretty
net
wide.
has been cast wide.
Maybe.
So where is this person you're talking about? Where are they going to merge
Now, they
from?
may develop in the year, like
Yeah.
come to.
Yeah.
I think that's possible.
That means in the next 7 months, somebody's going to.
I mean, I'm going to throw something out. Not that I think this is going to actually happen, but could
Okay.
George Campbell, right? He's gotten 1 cap so far. 1, right? He's played pretty well in MLS. They're talking about transferring him to Europe. If he transfers to Europe and he gets a starting role, which is big ifs, I'm not saying, but let's say this could be, and he's suddenly in one of the decent European teams, he's playing really well, whatever, he could be the starting center back in the World Cup.
Who released George Campbell from Atlanta United?
It was Bocanegra.
Was it
That's
Boca?
all- I mean,
That was a terrible
I feel
decision.
like that had to be.
Yeah.
But my point is, I'm not sharing George Campbell's going to be that guy, but
No,
there could
but-
be a guy like that.
But no, because Poch would have need to seen that evidence clearly this last month and into this month for him to be confident of adding someone like that to the roster. So the only way George Campbell is going to have a chance is if Miles Robinson does another knee and Ream does another knee. Then you might be right. Then Dave might be like, "Yeah, I told you, George Campbell." Right? Like I'm just saying. I think some people are going to have to go down, which is
It's
certainly
not
possible.
ideal. Would we love to have a center back who we can believe in right now? Of course. Yeah. It's not ideal.
I believe in Tim Ream still. I believe in Miles Robinson still.
But the
That's
rest,
good options.
the rest of the midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, if
I know,
you
when
look at the mid, I mean, a couple of the guys, who in Spain have just got transferred to big clubs, and they're not even the starters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the center 3, Tyler Adams, Musa, and Weston McKennie are legit good. It's by far the best engine room we have ever had on the U.S. national team. And, do we have the depth so much behind that? Yes, we have a few depth players even behind that.
Behind who?
Behind those 3 in the center of the park.
Yeah.
But, if those 3 guys are healthy and starting in the World Cup or whatever, we have a real chance because you got Pulisic, you got Weah, you got some guys that, maybe by the time it comes around, Gio Reyna gets his head straight and whatever it happens. We got some talent who can score and do some things. We even have some guys who could become better finishers. Balogun, Ricardo Pepi.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
They're not.
That's true.
When we were talking about previous U.S. national teams, you were like, God, I hope he gets a game in any club, period.
What do you think? What do you think of Poch not pulling in Turner to be our starter right now during the Gold Cup?
Well, Turner, so one of the things, I don't know if you heard, but, and I don't think it's going to stick, but Lyon just got relegated for money issues.
Oh.
So Lyon in the French first division, because they were having financial problems,
Really?
which is so crazy. Because they breached financial fair play
May not be able
rules,
to take him.
they got relegated.
Oh.
So they're now today
did
they're
not
in
know that.
Division 2,
Mhm.
and that's where Turner went to get all of his new playing time. That's also where our boy Almada ended up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna appeal that, and I
Right.
can't imagine it's gonna hold because it
Yeah.
never holds. Manchester
Uh-huh.
City's still playing after $8 billion
I mean,
in
Yeah.
financial fair play. But anyway, Tim Turner, if he is at Lyon and he's starting and he's playing every game, then we should be fine.
Yeah.
I have to say, even the guy who a lot of people are down on, Zach Steffen, if he's playing every game in MLS, I'm okay with it, because at least he's playing.
yeah.
Is he?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
playing every game for
He's playing.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Do I think we have the goalkeeping
So
that
why
we've
is-
had in
why is
previous
he-
times?
Yeah. Why
No.
is Freeze playing then?
Yeah. Why is
Is that his name? Matt
Stefan
Freese?
not or Turner at camp? I don't get it.
Steffan's hurt, I thought, a little.
Steffen
Was
yeah.
has
Turner
a
on the
little bit of
bench?
injury.
Turner's on the bench.
Turner's on the bench. Yeah.
Um,
You will see Turner, I think.
you do? Okay. All
I actually think the guy who didn't play today because he's with the national
No,
team.
I think he also might be hurt. I think Schulte also might be hurt.
Schulte got onto the roster and they got hurt. Anyway, he wasn't playing today for Columbus, but I think he's got a chance to be the starter
He
in the World
does.
Cup. He's real good.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to be talking about for a good 3 to 4 months before the World Cup some players who are not on anybody's radar, and that's okay. That happens with all the best national teams. And all of this, I actually agree a little bit with the hot take on the Athletic article that, maybe we finally made it. They got people arguing with the coaches and club versus national team issues because we've never had that problem before because we've never had a guy Pulisic who's a starter in Serie A.
Oh, wasn't Alexi Lalas starter and a
Okay.
really awful, terrible Serie A team that was like relegated?
Okay, and he only started some of the time. He played some amount.
He was
terrible.
terrible. I'm just joking, but come on.
But he was the Abram of center backs. He was big and fast and physical and couldn't read the game that well and got beat all the time.
Is Abram fast? Did I miss something?
Well,
oh man.
We lost
3-1. You got called
All right,
it.
we
Carmen
called it.
and Mike nailed it.
All right. So what do you? So let's close the podcast of talking about the rest of the season. We're now past halfway. Where's our worry meter and what's our prognostication for the rest of the season?
Well, it was 11 podcasts ago for me.
Okay.
So can it go any higher? I mean,
I think 11 is max.
Like I said at the beginning, this is pure torture.
Yep.
No Atlanta United fan deserves this.
Yeah.
They need to just,
would you sack the coach?
Yeah, I would right now.
Would you?
I would sack the coach. I would also make some drastic roster changes.
Who's available to coach?
That's the question.
Tata Martino.
Yeah.
With no more Bocanegra to fight with.
I don't see him coming back.
Why not?
I want to come back to this.
I don't know what. I just maybe he would.
Clearly, he enjoys coaching in MLS. He came to Miami, and he was in North America before that with Mexico. He's perfectly happy in North America.
Of course, I'd say yes.
I'd be down for that if he's willing.
And he did really well at Miami.
But here's why I say no. Here's why I say no. Like everything is cursed right now. Like anything that was needs to just be burnt down. I don't know.
See, I think I disagree with you on that. I mean, yes, we're horrible. We were perfect agreement with that.
Yeah.
But I think, for example,
we've been saying this for 5 years.
If we were to wave a magic fairy, wand right now, and at halftime or at the end of this game, if accidentally Dyla didn't get on the bus and Wilfred Nancy gets on the bus instead, which is of course can't happen, but let's say in Magic Land or whatever, this team is a playoff team with a contending possibility. I truly believe that. With the right coach, it is. I was hoping that Ronnie Dyla was going to be that right coach, and I was giving him the benefit of the doubt for a long time, as you know, and I said mid-season, but I see nothing.
I think there's something to do with even if you have the right player, the players are talented, but the chemistry and the culture is off. And so, Wilfred Nancy might be able to create that, but something's off with the players' ability right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
To connect with each other. I don't know.
It's remarkable how fast that can change if you get it right.
Yeah.
I just think I totally disagree with Lagerwey that coaching doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I think it matters all kinds, and not to say that that's the only answer. I have said, and I will repeatedly say, we could get the best coach in the world right now, and our center backs are probably not good enough to, we could be a lot better because you could fix a lot of things, but are our center backs good enough to be an MLS contender? Absolutely not. I mean, no matter what, I don't care who the coach is.
Bottom line is what we saw tonight was absolutely correctable, even mid-game. Yelling on what to correct. Like literally,
I could have corrected
a coaching yelling at what the issue is, by at least the 20th minute right there, right? You could have been like, hey, if I see this again, you're coming off the field type of thing.
Yeah.
Lennon, get out wide and mark that guy.
Yeah, that's
Amador,
true.
stop holding his hand, get out wide there. Tell them, or they're off in 5 minutes.
Match up and go fucking play. Yeah, and this is where I think, when Ronnie Dyla got in trouble early and he didn't do so well, when he kept saying that, we lacked the fire, whatever, you were like, there's a danger. Because not to say, there are times when a coach has got to really demand more of the team or whatever, but in those early days, like, it was clear that tactically it was off, and you're like, you solve that first, and then you can go after, play harder and play whatever. But it doesn't matter how hard you're playing if the tactics are wrong, and if to some extent if the players are wrong. Like, but there's a lot of people who want to, maybe including you, I don't know, I want to put words in your mouth, we want to burn down all the players. I don't think that we need to burn down all the players. We absolutely need to burn down our center backs. I mean, they're awful.
Yep.
And as we've been saying, I think we need to burn down Lennon as a back. This whole idea that Lennon is a back
the only reason I'm saying that is it's not that I don't believe there's players. Miguel Almiron and Latte Lot, they're great players.
Yeah.
And Marinchuk, like I'm not flip flopping on that.
Yeah.
It's just the point is like we have all this money. I just need a fresh start. I don't want to. I just want a fresh start.
Yeah.
Because I think
I'm
Edwards
exhausted.
as a
exhausted.
replacement for Lennon is absolutely legit as a right back. I think Amador is fine as a left back. We're kind of 2 players away from being a real squad. And honestly, one of them could already be on the team if he actually played, is Gregerson. But we absolutely need a new center back.
Is he alive? Like literally,
He's been out for 2 months with
He's
a
been out
hamstring.
for a
And,
very
2
long
months
time.
or a year and a half.
yeah,
It
well,
feels like it.
yeah.
Definitely feels like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think that's pretty hopeless. I think I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to come back and be whatever. But if you sign a new center back, which we absolutely need, right? Let's say he doesn't come back, and maybe is Cobb good enough in the answer? If you had a better coach, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, even when Gregerson comes back, it's going to take him a month to get up to speed.
Yeah.
Like it's just all too late. This season is an absolute wash.
It's so disappointing.
The season is over.
So this guy from Albania,
like even if you're right, Dave, and we start playing better in October, September, does that matter?
in MLS, it can. I mean,
No, I mean,
Seattle has
how far
shown
we-
that.
No, it definitely doesn't for us. Like we won't even make the playoffs, even if we play lights out. Not going to happen. We're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't.
Right now, yes, of course. No, we're not making the playoffs. But is it hopeless for making the playoffs? No. Again, Magic Wand, if you waved it and you fired Dyla and you hired Wilfred Nancy tomorrow, are we making the playoffs? I think yes.
Yeah.
Because it's so forgiving. But it's not going to happen because we're not. The club has shown, for better or worse, that they're stable about the coaching and whatever, and they don't think the coaching is that big a deal. So I don't see them moving on from Dyla anytime soon, even though I would. Like, I've seen nothing, and I'm pretty astute about seeing, are there signs, are there things getting better? But the thing that's been the problem from day one on this team is the defense, particularly center back. And he hasn't made it any, he said this in the last press conference, right? He said the problem is we're not getting any better. And I agree with him. But I think it's because he hasn't really seen the problem. Or if he has, he doesn't know how to correct it.
Yeah.
Because I think there are things you could do that are correctable. If you really knew the defense was a problem, or if you really believed that, you would not let Lennon continue to play right back.
Mm.
You would have Edwards play right back permanently, period.
I mean,
Right?
Lennon tonight, in terms of what did he do productively offensively?
He scored.
Did he?
Yeah,
He was in that little.
Accidentally ran into
Yeah.
the ball.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
From 3
boys.
yards out.
That's pretty much
Scored.
it.
That was it. Yeah.
The only one he scored. But anyway, I'm not disagreeing with you. But I think actually Lennon, I think Lennon as a right, guy,
But didn't we agree the whole reason that he got that goal was Edwards chested the ball
it was
beautifully?
it was a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah,
play.
and he just happened to be.
Yeah, he kind of like
standing
looked down,
there.
the ball was there, and he kicked it.
Pretty much.
But he was there.
He was there.
Anyway,
Well, he wasn't back defending.
But that's that's irrelevant, right? Because like he could be like a really good backup or whatever. He can sometimes play some start. Could rotate the front line would be really good if you can get the back line right. You can do all of those things. Until you do that, you got nothing.
Yeah.
So Lennon cannot play right back. Abram can never play MLS ever. If we just did those two things, even today without any new players, and this guy, can you put it back up, Carmen?
Mhm.
So from Albania, he plays in the Portuguese league for a pretty good team. He's only 26 years old. I mean, I have no idea. I've never seen him play, but he could be good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be better.
And Mahaz.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's got to be better, but he can't be worse.
No, he's got it. But then Abram, he's
Well,
got to be
You
better.
never know. But
Okay.
yeah, it seems like he got to be better.
I mean,
Well, we're a day late.
can't be worse.
Day late, $1 short, man.
Can't be worse. It can't be worse.
Too
And
late.
He's available in a free transfer this summer.
Yep.
He
Okay.
could play.
it's somebody.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just either burn it all down. With something different. It doesn't have to
Are
be
you
burn
with?
it all
Are
down.
you with me? Or are you with Mikey Dobbs? You want to burn it all down or no? I wouldn't burn it all down. I'd fire the coach.
Yeah. Something's got to change. I'm fine firing the coach because he hadn't shown that he's.
Well,
done
hold on though.
anything.
Dave has
That's
always
rare
said
for me.
you never fire a coach unless you got a better replacement.
That's
So if
right.
it's Tata Martino, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it's just nobody, we can't just.
Yeah.
fire
I
for the
don't
sake of
think you should
firing
fire for
him.
the sake of. To me, if I were running Atlanta United right now, I'd be trying to find new center backs. I'd be getting all right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would be doing is I would be doing a coaching search, right? Back behind the scenes without talking to anybody, doing coaching search. I would reach out to a guy like Tata and I'd find out. And if he's like, yeah, I'm interested. And Tata always is scouting and whatever. If he's got one player, whatever he
His
needs,
pocket.
if he says, look, I'm interested, I need this player or these two players, right? Then you fire him and you say, and so even if people are like, oh, you fired him too quick, you never gave him a chance. You're like, we had an opportunity to go back to the glory. He's been the most successful coach. He's got better credentials and, F off people.
All right. Well, I think we've talked about it all, frankly.
You okay over there, Mikey Dobbs?
No, I'm
No,
not.
I'm not. We're not okay. We're not okay there. If you want to send us, some kind messages.
If you want some kind
or
messages, if you like this
puppies.
podcast and you want it to continue into
Yeah,
2026,
send us a message.
I definitely need some messages of encouragement.
I think what I was thinking. Maybe we should do some call in. Let's go let the fans vent a little bit on the program.
Even the fans are done with call-ins. They
But
don't
they
know.
might. They're gonna
I
call
feel
in
like
and
we
be like,
venting
F
is
this
okay.
and F that.
Yeah,
and
Carmen,
venting
you
might
ready
be
for
fun.
some call-ins?
Yeah.
I'll figure
Okay.
this out,
All right.
and yes,
might try this.
We might have to try. Get ready if you're out. Well, you're not out there, but if you are eventually
And
out there,
to
get
be
your
f-
vents ready.
To be fair, it's fair that you're not out there. Like
Very
nobody should
fair.
be out there right now.
Very fair. All right, but let's
All right.
at least dance it out, guys.
Let's dance it out.
All right.
Just like back in Guadalajara, you say it, I do it, coach. Football is life. Danny Rojas, Danny Rojas.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, guys.